The Marks of Heaven, the Mystery of Padre Pio Stigmata. It was a morning in September 1918, in the small town of San Giovanni Rotondo, when something extraordinary happened in the life of a humble Capuchin friar. Padre Pio of Pietrelcina, known for his deep devotion and intense life of prayer, was praying in front of the crucifix in the monastery chapel. He had spent the previous night in vigil, as usual, interceding for countless souls. While meditating on the Passion of Christ, Padre Pio felt a sharp, intense pain in his hands, feet and side. At first, he thought it was just a result of his deep contemplation. However, when he looked at his hands, he saw something that would change his life forever. His limbs were bleeding, with open wounds exactly where Jesus had been crucified. Frightened and confused, Padre Pio tried to hide the wounds. He wrapped his hands in bandages and wore thick socks to cover his feet. But even so, the blood stained his clothes and, eventually, the news spread throughout the monastery. The friars, upon seeing the wounds, were both amazed and concerned. It was as if the wounds of Christ had materialized on the friar's body. The news of Padre Pio's stigmata soon spread beyond the monastery walls. Doctors and specialists were called to investigate. Among them was Dr. Giorgio Festa, one of the first physicians to examine the wounds. After a detailed analysis, he could not find a natural explanation for the wounds, which showed no signs of infection and remained open without healing for years. It was a mystery to science. Padre Pio, for his part, faced his new reality with humility and resignation. He regarded his stigmata not as a reason for pride, but as a heavy burden and an opportunity to unite more closely with the sufferings of Christ. Whenever someone asked him about the wounds, he would change the subject or respond simply, avoiding any kind of vanity. Over the years, Padre Pio's stigmata attracted pilgrims from all over the world, seeking comfort, healing, and spiritual guidance. Many witnessed miracles of healing and deep conversions after meeting the stigmatized friar. His small cell in the monastery became a place of encounter between heaven and earth, where people from all walks of life found hope and renewal. Padre Pio lived with the stigmata until his death in 1968. Curiously, on the eve of his death, the wounds began to heal mysteriously, disappearing completely and leaving only small white marks. For many, this was a sign that his sacrifice had been accepted and that he was being called to his heavenly reward. Today, the life and stigmata of Padre Pio continue to inspire millions of people around the world. His unwavering faith, humility, and deep compassion remain a living testimony to the love of Christ manifested in one of his most dedicated servants.